All right, I'm gonna do a quick video for people who have SUVs that want to take their seats out and get that out so that they can have the most space for camping. So first of all, most SUVs have this, folds the seat down, and in the back they have this little area right here. This pops up, and then there's a bolt. I already took mine out, but this is where the bolt was. You take a socket wrench and you take that out. Now, there's two in the back. No, there's 2, 4, 5, 6 in the back. There's 2 in here. Pop these out with a flathead screwdriver and then unscrew them with your socket wrench. Or a universal tool that you put on a drill. That would be much easier. It's less physically straining. So now that I'm ready to take the seats out, it looks like this. My seats are ready to go. I pulled the front seat out as well. The only other thing I have to do is, since these seats are automatic, there's some clips at the bottom underneath the seat, right under there. I'll show those in a little bit, but those you have to unplug to disconnect the power. Now, these seats can be pulled out together back here, but I'm not trying to lift like 150 pounds. So I want to take this, I want to separate this seat and this one. And how I did that is you have to disconnect the seat belts, because the seat belt on one seat was wrapped in to this seat belt with this little strap here. You need to take that out. Then in the metal down here, you have another bolt right here that attaches this seat tracking to this one. So I have to go back upstairs, and actually I think I have my socket wrench down here. I'm gonna disconnect this with the socket wrench, and then if you can see, these pieces of metal they're together. There's this seat's metal and this seat's metal. They're together. Once you do that, it should remove the seat completely from the other seat along with its tracking. Then I can pull this out, stick it on the cart, roll it up, grab that one out, then grab that one out. The seats in the back are the same way. I ran into a problem because 2 of the bolts on the back seat, 2 of them were, I guess they're stripped. So I had to get a multi-tool to put on the end of my drill, because no matter how much I was pulling on them, on the socket, those 2 bolts didn't want to come out. So I'm going to work on that and get that last seat out. That'll be the only thing that I need to do to get that seat out. Let's show the front. So the tracking that I was talking about was this piece right here. This is where the bolt was when it was into the seat, which was right there. Use your socket wrench and you should be able to get them out with no problem. Same thing with the front seats. They were on that tracking. Now they're not on any tracking, so I can push them over. So they're ready to come out. But don't forget, don't try to yank that out without disconnecting the power. If you rip that out, you're gonna mess up your power cord. So get underneath there. Once you rip up the leather that's underneath, there's a leather flap underneath. It's tucked underneath there. This right here is a flap. It's a little hard plastic, but then underneath it is with elastic and Velcro. You pull that back, and then you'll see the motor and you'll see all the cords. So you'll be able to disconnect whatever's connected. Disconnect it. Don't worry about causing any harm. It's sturdy clips that you should be able to easily disconnect. Once that's disconnected, move the cords out of the way. Make sure they're not pinned up on anything, and you can pull that seat right out. Depending on the shape of your door, you'll have to pull it out in upright position or maybe folded, depending on how the shape of your door is and how much your door opens up. That's what we're working on now. Hopefully that helps you. Because when I tried to do it, when I first started to do it, I looked for a YouTube video. There was no YouTube videos. So now we had to get in there and experiment a little bit and see what's going on. And that's what we found out. So I'm gonna grab the socket, pull that out, and it'll be good to go. Hopefully it helps you. All right, I got this size socket wrench. It's the same size socket wrench as the one that pulled these screws out. These screws will fit right in there. So it was attached in here and then attached in there. Pull that out, it immediately disconnected. That's what it looks like after, and I'll easily be able to pull it out. All right, these are the back seats, the most rear seats. So these caps were on here. I took these caps off. Initially there was a bolt in there like this, but I said earlier, these two, this one and this one, they do not want to come out. So I don't know, it's got to be because it's stripped or misaligned really badly. That's the only thing that I could think of why it's not coming out. I mean, I put all my physical strength into this. I also used the drill with, where's that drill? I also used the drill with a multi tool in the front, and it's so tight on there that I would need a more powerful drill. This is not an impact drill, it's just a regular driver. Since I don't have an impact drill, and I'm not just gonna buy an impact drill just to take two little bolts out, tomorrow I will go to my local mechanic shop and have them get one of those heavy duty mechanics drills and have them take this out. Just two bolts. They probably will. I ask them, they'll just do it for me, and that's it. All the seats are out now. I'm sitting in the bottom of here. Got decent headspace. But these seats fold down and they're flush. They're pretty flush, but I'm gonna be traveling with two big dogs, so I want to have as much space as possible. And then I was thinking about taking out this carpet. It's easy to take out, but then I was like, I don't know. I mean, I still might, because I'm gonna put a subfloor in here. I'm gonna put a little subfloor and then use some like sticky tiles, some just whatever sticky tiles I find on sale. And that way, if I spill any food or anything, I can just easily wipe it up with a rag, and I don't have to worry about getting this carpet any more dirty than it already is, because it's pretty dirty already. So I'm gonna clean it before, and then like I'm gonna vacuum it, shampoo it, and get it nice and clean. That way, when I go to put the seats back in, it's nice. And then I'm gonna cut a piece of plywood to fit this whole entire frame all the way up to the front seat. And I'm gonna use these little bolts here to bolt them down. So I'll use my drill bit, drill holes, and then I have the bolts already that were attached to the seats. I'm gonna utilize those bolts to hold the seat, to hold the plywood down. There's some in the front, there's some here, and they should be pretty nice. That should work pretty nicely. But we'll see, because I may end up having to put in some a couple pieces of like wood for like shims, so that the floor isn't dipping down in the front. But I highly doubt that it'll do that, because I'm using 1/2-inch plywood. So, but if it does, then I'll just throw in some like 2x4s in a couple spaces. Since there's about 2 inches, I measured the space, about 2 inches on each little dip, which sucks because, I mean, look at how much space they're taking out. But I guess they had to for the wheel well. So I guess we'll see, and probably to give us some more ground clearance. But either way, I have much more space than I had before with those seats in, taking up all the space. And now when I put my floor in, I can show another video on how I decided I was gonna easily set up my bed frame and my storage, and that way it's easily removable, as well as it's not permanent. So, and also it gives me, it's the most low profile thing that I could come up with that would allow me to have bed space and store all of my essentials inside, as well as I'm setting it up so that it's not taking away too much of my move around space, because I don't want to be moving and trying to move anything around from outside in case it's raining or whatever. I want to be able to do everything from inside. So I already did my measurements, but because the seats were in there, it was a super rough estimate on the measurements, and we'll see with what I'm working with once I get all this seat out and I can measure properly, because I didn't really. Okay, yeah, so that's where we are on the progress of these chairs coming out. All right, so I tilted, this is the front passenger seat. I tilted the top all the way back and allowed those bolts right there that I technically could take out, but there's no need because I don't want to mess up the tracking, because it's not connected. It's just kind of just sitting in a little hole. But I flipped this down, disconnected the bolts that were in there, that were attached there, and now in order to take it out, as you can see, there's a power cord there. That power cord is attached to once you tilt this seat up, you can see that where the power cord is attached. Let me see if I can do it with the mouse. I may be able to disconnect. Oh, there it is. There's a white, you see that white power cable? It's connected by a plastic tab. You're gonna have to rip that tab down to be able to free up that cable and leave that cable loose. You may be able to pull it out without messing it up, but if you have to rip it out, then rip that shit out, because there's no way you're gonna pull the chair out without doing that. But there's the clamp. There is the clamp right there, and there's a little plastic tab on the bottom. You squeeze the plastic tab and you'll be able to pull it out. That's the only cable that's connected. The rest of the cables are all associated with the motor, which is actually inside the chair. So the power cord is right there, and we want to take that out, and we'll easily be able to pull it out. But make sure you be careful, because those two nails that are down there, they're lower than the plastic. So you need to make sure when you're pulling that out, you're not scratching your whole entire car all up. You know, if you have an older car and you don't care, then fine. But if you have a new car, you better be careful, or you're gonna rip up your paint and rip up your plastics. And you can cover paint, but the plastics, once they're scratched up, they're scratched up. You'll have to replace them. But yeah, so I'm gonna do this now. Much better. I tilted it fully so I didn't have to hold it up. I didn't think it was gonna be able to do it, but it actually did it. So it's leaning against the dashboard. So we've got a plastic. How you take it out is you push on the top. You grab it from the top. You probably could use some pliers. That would probably be a better idea, but I didn't bring that out. So we're gonna use a screwdriver, stick it in there, pull that down. Like that, to put it over top. I don't want to mess up the clamp. That's why I'm going through the drama with this right now. And it's pretty rusty too. So our best bet is to, honestly, I'm annoyed. In a second I'm going to be annoyed or past my level of patience for doing this, so I'm probably just going to rip it out, because it's hot out here. You see, it's only there. It's like a little arrow. You should essentially, if you use needle nose pliers, you should be able to pinch them. I'm not going to struggle my little fingers to do that. Oh, I might have did it. Hold on. Does this fit back there? No. What do I have? I didn't bring anything else out with me, but I guess it would have been wise to bring out my knife to kind of shimmy it back there. But if you've got decent grips on the tips of your fingers, you should essentially be able to pull this out with no problem. But apparently my fingers are not trying to have it. Oh, you saw it move? Oh, it's almost out. It's like this. All right, maybe I can rip it out. All right. It's so rusty, if you can see. It's so rusty that it's clipping onto the plastic and not letting it go. So what we're gonna do is we are going to just rip this sucker out. And I don't want to rip it out like this because I actually don't want to rip the power cord. So what I'm gonna do, squeeze this, push this in. Let's do it like this. Foot, hold the phone. I'm gonna push this in. And then wiggle, which you should be able to do with your hands as well. I've already disconnected this before in the passenger side seat. Oh, you have to disconnect this too. All right, so it's a little more difficult than I said it was gonna be, guys. Sorry. All these plastic pieces are, you have to disconnect actually here, 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 and here, because they wired all this in together and wrapped it with some black wire. So just pay attention. You should be able to pull this down and pull it out. Let me pause real quick and see. Okay, so this one, the clamp goes down like this, and then it slides right out from here. It was just boop, and I pulled it down. Now, let's see about these ones. Kind of have to mess around with them. Let's see. All right, so instead of struggling, what I did was I put the screwdriver in, and then you let the tip of the screwdriver clip right there. You push in, then tilt up like this with the screwdriver, and then when I did that, it fell right out of the casing. So let's try it again with this one that's right next to it and see how that works for us, because it's essentially the same exact clip. Let's see if I can do it. Oops. Knocked something over there. Alright. Alright, it's hard to hold this up at the same time. Let's see. I'm not really sure if you'll be able to see it, but maybe I'll hold it like this. Alright, yeah, that'll work. Alright, there's a little clip. Push in, and then push in, and then down. Did it work? Yes, sucker. Alright. That's a struggle to hold the. I had to hold the camera between my legs, and do it. Oh, it's clamped over here too. There's a black clip. Let's see if I can pull that out with the screwdriver. Let's see. Sorry for the wobbly view. I should have put my little GoPro on, but I didn't really think it through. I kind of just said, oh, I'll just easily do it really quick, and then yeah, that. See how that worked out. see what the top feels like. Let's see. Just pinch the top from the right side. So there's not much room for my left hand to fit in. I have to push it in. Alright, so that's not working because I need some needle nose pliers. And I'm not going all the way back upstairs for needle nose pliers. But if you can see, or let me see if you can see. If you can see the little arrow, that other arrow is just exactly the same. You'll need the needle nose pliers to pinch all the way down at the tip, and then as it's pinched, then you push the pliers down, and that will release this clip, and then you don't have to worry about breaking it. Me though, I am not trying to struggle, so I may just try to rip this out without ripping the cords out. But I have to check what tools I have in here, because right now I only have a screwdriver and a drill, and that's not doing it. Yeah, so hopefully that helps you. So far we have 1, 2, 3 of the power cables out. We only need 1 more. This one here, as well as the plastic tabs. Once we get them out, then we're good. And that would be your removal of your front seat. As you can see how I have it set up, the seat is pushed to where the underneath is all the way visible. You want good visibility. You don't want to go in there blind. Whew. All right, I figured it out. I feel excited about it because I figured it out without having to worry about ripping the plastic off. So I took a little pen and I stuck it right at, there's a little cap on the top. There's this little flap here that was you see how it is? Like, so there's a little cap that's causing the connection. I took a pen and I lifted that up, and then I pushed at the same time this tab back, and it opened up this loop that is holding it. Instead of having to pull the whole piece out, I'm just gonna undo the plastic that's gripping it. And that's the same thing that's happening over here, except the little flap is in the front. So you would have to approach from the front seat to get the tab, I would think. I'm gonna try it from the back here, but we'll see. I might have to just flip the chair and do it from the front. Then it'll be disconnected, and then the only thing I have to figure out how to do is pull this out without trashing the electrical component. But we'll see. All right, this piece was so much harder to get out, but it was basically pushing this piece out, lifting the black piece out, and then wiggling and sliding it out from here. It was actually, this one was harder than all the other ones, but yeah. So I'm gonna flip the seat back and reach from the front this clip here, and then use my pen, the trusty pen, the power of the pen. I'm gonna use this, lift up the tab, and then push in the little strappy piece, and then remove it. I did it here. It works really well, and I didn't destroy my clips. Here was the clip here. You push that piece up with your pen, and then you push the plastic back. Then you're left with this monstrosity, and your chair's out. All right, one last thing I forgot to tell you guys. Once the seat is out, I forgot that the seat belt was attached. You stick your screwdriver in here. I popped out one side already by just going like this with the screwdriver. So the other side should be fairly easy on a different angle. Or you just rip it out like that and say fuck it. Alright. grab this trusty ratchet. This thing should go with you. If you have a car, you should have one of these with you, because this fits like all the bolts that are in your car. All right, you don't want to struggle, but there we go. Oops. Seat off. Righty tighty, lefty loosey on all of these. And this is a Kia, so it's foreign, but it still has common sense. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. See. Once you get it loose enough, you should be able to. Sometimes they come out easy after that, but other times not so much. Come on now. Don't play. Oh, you know what's probably, it could be actually anchored behind. Yep, it could just be anchored behind there. I was gonna say it could be anchored behind because it's already unscrewed and it won't come out any further. So it was actually. So then all we have to do is remove the electrical components that are apparently in this seatbelt. And we'll do that by checking out how it's connected. Looks like it just slips right in there. Let's see if we can pull it. Oh no, there's the tab there. Okay, so there's a little tab here. We'll use our foot as an anchor and we'll pull that right out. There we go. Seatbelt's disconnected. I like to grab any of these and remove them so that I can use them later to bolt the chairs down, but this one is actually stuck on there, so we're not going to do anything with that. We're going to move that out of the way. Then we're going to sneak this in here and put this cap on back on to protect it, because it is electrical. The rest of the caps for like the other bolts, I didn't put those back on. The ones that I took off, I didn't put those back on because they were just bolts, but that has electrical to it, and you don't want to get, like, God forbid you're taking this out and it starts pouring down, raining, like, you don't want to get water in anything electrical, and it does look like it possibly may rain, maybe, so we don't want to do that. Now we can toss this seat to the front, and hopefully, oh, the screw did come out once it got knocked around. All right, well, it's out now. We'll keep that. Let me see if this will fit out of the front door. Oh yes, remember the screw or the nails that are on the bottom of this? You're gonna have to lift up and pull forward. Oops. Pull by the metal so you don't rip the freaking plastics off on your way out. There we go. And sit it up. There. And as you can see, it'll perfectly fit out this door. You can just, so you don't have to pull so much, tilt it right out. Then make sure nothing else is connected. I am going to grab it by the seat belt, walk it over to my car. That would have been a fail. If I would have been a pass if I didn't have the dang phone in my hand. But since we're down here, this cart is awesome. It folds and it holds up to 300 pounds, which is very useful in city life, because people that deliver my packages tend to forget that we have an elevator, and they leave my packages on the first floor and then I have to go down and pick them up, and they're heavy. So I got that, and it works really nice. That's that dog. I made a dog crate, a custom dog crate or dog kennel for the back of the truck, but I'm not going to use that now because I want as much space as possible. So we're emptied out here. We got all this room back here, and we're going to work with it.
What? Yeah, what?
Wow. Mira, está
Botando humo.
no,
Mira,
yeah.
Se calentó.
Se calentó, en verdad.
Ese no lo toques.
Wow.
Sí, está rust.
Wow.
Ahora le pone, cuando lo vaya a poner, le
Maybe
pone
estaba
poquito.
lloviendo o cosas así.
Exacto, a esto, cuando lo vaya a poner back.
Ajá. Ponte aceite, aceite. But you want me to put no, the other grease, the hard one. No, the aceite de silicone. Que se queda. So it did come out, but I needed an extension and some muscle.
Lo usa cuando está muy cortito. Consigue un pedacito de kite. Y lo pone un poquito esto más grande.
Okay, for extra. So I had my little thing here. I thought it was gonna be working, but you need a good extension. That's how tight it's on there. Let me put some more oil on for this guy.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't care if the carpet gets dirty because I still need to clean it.
Aunque no se te vaya a partir el tornillo adentro.
That's crazy. They must have used a strong tool to put it in and put it turned it too much. Either that or they somehow got wet inside here, but it doesn't really look like it's wet. It just looks like it was too far down, and then they stripped it. Oh, there he is.
No se vaya a partir.
There we go. Damn. Jeez. Okay.
Si se parte allá adentro, uno tiene que hacer un trim. Entonces el mecánico tiene que sacar el tornillo partido y ponerle otro.
Ah, okay.
Si se parte ahí.
Dang. Jeez.
Ya se jodió, ya es mía.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Man, it's starting to smoke. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's how much friction was going on in there. Let me put some of this so it doesn't burn up. There we go. There we go. Every little bit you do, I put a little more oil because I don't think they put any. I think it's silicone. No, not silicone. Lithium. No, is it lithium oil? I don't know. I have it upstairs for my motorcycle. I put it on my motorcycle whenever I did anything because it's rusted at the bottom.
Yeah.
Like it's too dry. They didn't put anything in there. You could tell.
No, another one?
No more. That's it.
Okay.
I can take this shit out now too. Thank you.